Hello, my name is Jeff. You're watching The Painting Phase After Dark on XV88 FM.
Every time I just feel amazing.
I think I just want to get a Horlicks and just chill out for the night.
Yeah.
So, who are you? Let's go with you first. unknown warrior.
I got a new 3D printer.
Really, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what I've been printing?
Oh, I don't know.
Weapons and helmets.
Really? Is that what I've been doing?
Yeah, I'm here to rip and tear today. So literally 3D. Like, I'm a massive Doom fan.
Yes.
I'm going to take this off because I'm worried it's echoing on the thing.
That and the fact that you're surely in this weather, you'll pass out in about 10 minutes.
The problem is everyone's now going to go, it's him. And skips off.
Who was that known warrior?
As we record this, I think we're 3 days away from Doom the Dark Angels. Dark Angels? Doom the Dark...
That'd be an expansion,
That
wouldn't
would
it?
be brilliant. Can you imagine?
I feel
Doom
like
the Dark Ages release, and everyone's been very, it's very different to thinking I won't like it. I don't care, it's Doom. The last two have been great. I trust this one will be amazing.
And also, and Patrick.
Yeah, I'm here, which is fine.
No one cares. Like, we always drag it out and then we eventually get to you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the least...
But I just worry
important.
about him.
You're my favourite. Without you, none of this would exist.
I don't know where I've been. I didn't even know there was a new Doom game coming out.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just pop culture.
At work. You've been at work.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, do you know, I haven't even been at work today, and I've had like the busiest day ever.
Oh, bless you.
Honestly, I've been like a dog with two dicks today. I've been busy, honestly. Really.
It's been so long since I've heard that.
Honestly. Today, Jesus. You ready? Dropped my son off at school early because he's doing his SATs. Then to cut my elderly next door neighbour's hair. Brought her with me to the barber shop. Dropped my son off, cut her hair. Dropped her at Sainsbury's. Took the dog to the park. Took the dog to the vet for her checkup. Come home, got changed, went to a funeral. Went for a haircut, came back, collected my son from school, did the big shop, came home, cooked tea, came here. What a day off.
That's intense.
Oh, honestly, this is the longest I've sat down. Honestly, madness. Absolute madness.
To be fair, though, you have been sat there for 3 hours.
I know, yeah, it's true.
So I'm going to have to excuse myself a sec because, don't worry, keep talking.
Yeah.
But I have also, it's been warm today, which is rare in the UK. And I've just took that off, cleaned my glasses because there was a mark on there and rubbed it on my sweaty shirt. So now I can't see. So I'm going to disappear.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, this is...
You know what's going to happen now? He's going to come in another massively big bonkers helmet.
I am.
What are you trying to find? Oh, there might be one on my desk somewhere.
Okay, should we just carry on?
Fine.
So then, guns.
Yes.
In the words of Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop, guns, guns, guns. Great line there.
Yeah.
But
I need to watch RoboCop.
Ross has been busy, haven't you? Making new shooters.
I have, yeah. See, I'm an all IP infringing. Was it IP infringement? I'm an equal rights IP infringer. So, you know, I'm going with Bethesda for Doom.
Yes.
Technically, it's a Space Marine.
Technically, yes.
Yeah,
it's a Marine that goes to space.
There is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, also weapons. We talked about these last week, the Tau ones.
Yeah.
So we've got now bear in mind, Jeff, that falls apart.
Yeah, I'm not going to lift any of them up other than my already new favourite shooter being this.
There we go. So yeah, you've got this
assault pistol.
Which is... Yeah,
it's very cool.
What is this? You know, Tau.
That's a pulse rifle.
There we go, pulse rifle.
Is it a pulse rifle?
I think that's a pulse rifle.
Carbine.
Whatever, it's a short
Which way
one
round it
with
goes.
a little grenade.
It's heretical filth, is what it is.
That's true.
This one falls apart, but I just wanted to bring it to give you an idea of the size of this thing.
Great.
Ross, your weapon's huge.
Thank you. Thank you. It's not the first time I've heard that.
But it does fall to bits.
Last time I heard
it's the first time you've heard it from a man.
Well, true. Last time I heard it was from my wife, and it was followed with "Get it out of the fucking house." I've had enough of this shit. But yeah, can we get a close up?
Yes, you'll be slightly out of.
Look at that.
So just for when people say, "Can you put your cameras on manual focus?" This is why sometimes I don't, because Ross moves around quite a lot.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think I was this active and be this size.
I mean, you are on wheels.
Yeah, I'm like a shit version of Magneto.
And this,
Not Magneto, Charles Xavier.
And this one, which is just lovely.
Yeah,
That is lovely, isn't it? Like, these are free as well. These are free models you can download.
Do you think that guy made them free? Because do you think he got the heads up about?
I don't know. We said this last week. Like, I don't know if he suddenly got the heads up.
Because they've workshop at the time of recording have sort of put a big thing out or something.
See, I don't know what it is, and this is I want the answer on this. Like, and I think GW are going to be quite rightly vague, because if everyone knows the answer, then they'll know how to skirt the rules. But like, when it comes to IP infringement, like, I'm not seeing anyone dive on a lot of things on the internet that are like, well, that's clearly a rip-off of that.
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
There's a whole, like, and again, I've mentioned this before, Mezgeik, fantastic guy. He does the Dredge Marines and the Orcs.
Yeah.
They are Plague Marines. They
Yeah.
are. Like, there's even a Mortarion one. There's
Oh,
a
he's done
Typhus
Mortarion
one.
now.
Yeah, like an equivalent Mortarion. It looks amazing as
Oh,
well.
wow.
It's all, but
Yeah.
he's done it in his own, completely his own flavour and style. It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't take any of the iconography or anything like that, but
They're different enough.
but what is different enough?
Yeah, or Blum and Station Forge and their Deathcore of Krieg, which are like dangerously close.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really, really close.
Yeah.
You know.
So-
I mean, I guess.
And they are designed, Station Forge have designed their line that it covers every data sheet for,
Yeah.
you know, everything that you know, they even do, like, for those people who get really upset about it, they do male Sisters of Battle,
Oh.
you know, for people who are
Misters of Battle.
Misters of Battle.
Misters of Battle. Yeah.
Because
But yeah, it's
I mean,
weird.
I would argue that it's okay that we don't know, because really intelligent, highly paid lawyers argue it out, and that's their job.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. But
Or, yeah.
it is what it is. It's just, it's one of those things where, like, I obviously have a fondness for 3D printing. I have a fondness for
course.
Warhammer
And piracy.
and less of a fondness.
I'm not giving a damn.
But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like, you know, we're in Nottingham. I think we've all got mates who work at Warhammer.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to
Haven't got any.
see. Fair point. Well, you've got us. We don't work at Warhammer.
I have acquaintances that work at Warhammer.
Yeah. But
They
we've-
can't know that we're actually friends. He'll get
Fair
fired.
point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, we can't say who.
No.
But no, we've got friends there. But it's like, I don't want those guys getting shit on, especially the creative side who are
Yeah.
designing these. Like, I don't like that their work is kind of getting pilfered, but at the same time, I can't not say I don't I fucking love those Dredge Marines. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I have some Mezgeik orcs, and I forget the name of the GW model that I believe inspired it.
Yeah.
But I think it was one of the older combat patrol with the death copters in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a grot. He's in like power armor
Yeah,
or
he's
mega
got a
armor.
grot
And he's got a
stood on
grot
his
on the
shoulders.
top with a gun.
Oh, funny enough,
there's a
and
3D
those
printable.
who don't know, which I'm going to have to pull my finger out and put an order in for my little boy, the Hache magazine,
Oh, yes.
issue 41, which will be out in June, has that miniature in it for a tenner.
Oh wow!
Bearing in mind he's about
Great.
20-something
Yeah,
quid.
so that's
full price.
less than half price.
Yeah.
And you
Which
get a free
reminds me-
magazine.
And you get a free magazine. Yeah.
Nobody reads those magazines.
No.
Like,
If you need to put something in the bottom of your budgie cage, you're laughing.
If you are
Yeah.
out there and you buy it and you read the magazine, please let us know in the comments. I think I've read one, and that's because I couldn't figure out how to put a model together, so I went to the build guide.
Apart from instructions, what's actually in those?
No idea. I've
bit
no
of
idea.
flavour,
And I have a website
bit of
that writes about
flavour, sometimes a bit of flavour, a little bit of ideas of how to use them in combat. If I
Okay,
remember
yeah.
rightly, I think I looked through the
there
one.
is.
I think I looked through the one that came with the Terminator and Space Marine armor, which was the one from Leviathan.
Yeah.
And I think it gives you a little bit some basic tactic ideas and some painting instructions, but only for obviously painting as Smiths.
Yeah.
But it like the painting is like with the paints you've got up to that point
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, of
So, like,
course. Right, yeah.
So like you'll get 3 colours to start
'Cause
off
it's
your ultramarine.
Everything you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
like, remember 2 issues ago when you had that blue paint?
Yeah.
Fucking bin it and buy this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I have read through a few. It's a bit of fluff. It's after I think issue 3. No, issue 1's got like how to basically battle your 2 character things in there.
Yeah, because it's him versus, it's Captain versus Hive Tyrants.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And then as it goes through, Tyrants. It's like, as you build your force, it brings you more into like using them in battle and more scenarios and stuff and that sort of thing for the game inside. So it's pretty good, but I think everyone just buys it for the thing. I'm glad issue 40 is coming out soon, because I actually need to do an update on my website that's got all the contents of issue 40 to 60.
What's in for issue 40?
No idea, because I haven't asked for the email yet.
All right, okay.
But no, so Hachette, so they send me the issues 20 at a time, and then I put it on the website that says this is what's coming. But it's all been leaked by Spain again. So I didn't realise last time, so I did the updates for issue 20 to 40, or 21 to 40, and then someone went, "Did you realise this has been released by Spain?" I was like, "No." So by
the country of Spain.
Yeah, well,
the whole country was involved.
When they do the Spanish release, there's a one of their like resellers is aware of like the entire run and then just goes, "This is what's coming in every issue." So they reveal it. So
it's only partially a shock, because when it first came out, they showed you a photograph of everything that was going to be in it anyway. So it's like, I know what's coming. It's just
the order that you care about.
It's the order, because the thing is, like, you can order them from Forbidden Planet or your local shop. Yeah. So those high value issues just disappear. Right. So as soon as everyone knows what's coming, you can't get those on Forbidden Planet or wherever anymore. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the only thing people don't know at this point, I mean, it's not confirmed, it could change, it hasn't changed. But the only thing we don't know is what paints you get. And who cares? No one's buying those issues. They want the cheap models.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Right, what are we doing today? We've done Weapon of the Week.
We've done Weapon of the Week. We've done Helmet of the Month.
Yep.
Right, I'm going to go in with, it's not very often to do this, but I had, there was a direct reply to one of, that fact that, I'm like Grandpa Simpson, man shouts at clouds.
Yeah, I do that a lot as well. I do,
man shouts at grey plastic clouds. And somebody pulled me up on it. And I think he was right, but also I gave a reply, but it led me to a greater little bit of meandering through my own brain about where do we lie with this sort of thing. And so it was a lovely chap called Winker Winkful, and he said, big fan of Jeff. Hey. And he said, but he needs to get some perspective on the Assault Terminators. How many releases do Marine players need to be happy?
More.
Yeah, more. I replied, thanks for enjoying my drivel. I just think if you've created a new size chassis, which is what they have, for want of a better term, and they have a few flavours, I think you should get them out there, because no one wants to mix two different sizes. It's not really a desire to have lots of stuff, more just a coherent army, really.
Yeah, I agree.
But as somebody who proxy collects Marines through my eldest son...
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Are we a bit greedy, a bit spoilt, a bit entitled? All of us who love Space Marines, are we always on a desire thinking we should have more than everybody else? Or have we got spoiled because they are already the biggest seller and Games Workshop keeps us fed because they know what sells the best?
Yes, we should have more.
This is segment. Classic, what came first, the chicken or the Space Marine?
Yeah. But,
Yeah, so, what's because... Because Marines have been around for a very long time, haven't they? And they are incredibly popular.
Yeah.
So did they push Space Marines, or was the fans purchasing Space Marines what then created Warhammer to push more Space Marines?
Because don't get me wrong, I think that when you look at the other armies, because we've done this. If this rumor turns out to be true that Space Marines are getting a second run of a codex before we get to 11th edition. Yeah. If it turns out to be correct. This isn't the first time this has happened, where they've had two Marine codexes in an edition, where nobody else, some bloomin' armies looking at like 9th edition Imperial Guard barely got a bloomin' codex before they ran out of that edition. And I think, I was thinking to myself, I thought, is Winker Winkful correct? Am I just moaning because I feel like I'm entitled to have more and more stuff? And if I'm being honest, I don't think I am. I think what I said there is what I hold true to is, if you change something, I think you should make a fundamental attempt to upgrade everything to that thing. Because especially I often like to sit back and think of it if I was a new player and I managed to get the new Terminators and then I'd started to slowly put my codex together and then I thought, you know what, with claws and a shield and a hammer and things like that, that sounds all really good. And then when I bought them, not knowing enough, come home, found out that there was about 1.5 foot height difference between them and, and about 1.5 foot width difference between them. I think I would be feeling a little bit hard done by.
Is there that much difference in the when the new
there's
ones
a fair between
out,
Terminators. Yeah, there's a fair chunk of difference.
I didn't see there was a size, much of a the new ones. Is there?
Well, yeah,
I need to hold one against the other.
Without sounding awful, mate. Yeah, they are. There's a good old chunk.
Yeah,
between
so
them.
Primaris Marines are bigger than old school Terminators.
That's clear. Like I think that was because for a lot of time before that, people were using Terminators and cutting them down to make true scale Space Marines because they were never quite that much taller than say Guard in the game.
I don't think it helps with the sculpting, like they're all sort of bent at the knees.
Yeah, they're quite hunched, aren't they? And these new ones are a little bit more upright.
Yes.
And but to be fair to them with the Primaris range, the other day I put them all out and looked, and I looked at Scouts, Phobos, Marine, Intercessor size Marine, whatever you call that, and then I looked at that'd be Mark 10 armor, wouldn't it? And then I looked at Gravis, and then I put a Terminator, and the scaling is actually bang on for the idea of them just getting slowly bigger with the bulk of the armor. But I think, like, I don't want. Of course, I want more and more stuff. Everyone wants new, more and interesting models. I'm quite happy to not get any more, but I do think it sometimes feels a little bit like codexes are made with somebody with attention and deficit disorder. They go, it's this, and then they go, oh, we can't be bothered getting around to it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we want to make that. Oh, but look at them, and it's a bit. And I'm just like, just finish your range. Do you know what I mean?
That can be said for every single release we've had.
You're absolutely right. But,
brilliant.
Validation. There we go.
That's why I like you.
Episode's over.
This is why I like you more than my wife.
But I just think if you go, these are now that size, and we're going on a run of Marines.
Yeah.
You should tick all your boxes before you move on to other things. Like I think to myself, you shouldn't been in my, self-righteousness. You go, I don't think you should have been showing me Blum and drop pods. I want you to be showing me Assault Terminators. For the love of God, finish your codex. Finish your codex. If it's got a bloody data slate, make the sodding miniature and then start fluffing new miniature going well. And now the drop pods are different, but we'll get to that in another. Go.
All right.
For the love of bloody God, finish your
let's say your
range.
Let's say your James Workshop right now, who, as we all know, is the guy.
He's a real person.
Isn't it Kevin Roundtree or something?
Kevin Roundtree's the CEO. Yeah.
Okay. So there was a name in my head. Bloody hell, I remember names. Let's say it's James Workshop. He's in charge. So let's say you're James Workshop. You're making the decisions.
Yes.
So you've just released your new Terminators.
Yes.
Where do you go next? What's your release plan then? Do you go right? We've just done new scale Terminators, Assault Terminators, Wolf Guard Terminators.
No, Knights? I would have personally for
Jetpack
me with
Terminators.
Permanently for me for the Marine Codex.
Right.
I'd have got everything that was Ultramarine, i.e. Codex standard.
Yeah.
I'd have got all of that out. And then I'd start worried about flavours.
Right. That makes
go
sense.
Bang, 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 bang. And especially because the fact that, I'd rather as a Blood Angel player wait out for my Blood Angels and for my Codex and my new miniatures, of which there wasn't many, but I'd rather wait out for them. But knowing that I've got Assault Terminators sitting there in the wings waiting to be painted for when I've got my codex and I can rebuild my army to match it.
At least then you've got your, especially for Space, I think for Space Marines specifically, definitely, because Space Marines you can again, as much as I've whinged about there's not enough flavour, at least you had them. So you can be playing Space Wolves with your Primaris Marines and you've got the ability to play them. Yes, they don't have your cloaks like Wolf Claws and all that, but you can still play. you're right. Like Space Marines feels incomplete, but again, as somebody who's massively excited for these new Space Wolves, I'm like, right, okay, that's good. But this is the thing about Warhammer. Like, even at the most exciting times, even at the times where I'm like, yes, I'm still fucking disappointed because I'm concerned we're not going to get a Beyond the Fell-Handed or Murder Fang revision or Dreadnought revision, whatever, because that was a 3-in-1.
Yeah.
If we do get one, it will no longer be a 3-in-1 box. It'll be a 1-in-1 box.
Yeah.
And you won't have the options. But there were other characters as well as that haven't been done. Who's the guy in the black armor? Is it Niall Stormcaller?
No, he's been done.
You mean
the Nigel Stormcaller.
You mean the named priest? Was he called Ulrich?
Ulrich, yeah. And that's still a nice model.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I'm looking at it thinking, like, I'm desperate to see what this Space Wolves Codex looks like.
Yeah.
Because
I think because I think Games Workshop seems to be on a bloomin' real sweep and clear mentality at the moment now, I think to myself now, I'm getting to the point where I look at I take the doom approach of it, of looking at it and going, if he didn't get a miniature, he's not going to be in the Codex. So, so
does that mean...
so I don't think he will be. I think is he called Ulrich the Slayer? I think he might be called.
I'm going to Google.
Can't remember. I haven't been a Space Wolf player for many a moon. For many a full moon. But I don't think if he hasn't got a miniature now, you're not coming back.
Yeah, or Ulrich the Slayer. So we're not going to have an Ulrich in the Codex. We're not going to have a Beyond the Fell-Handed. So what, are they dead? Are they gone? This is the bit. So
no, because what'll happen is come 11th edition, when they don't know what else to do, they'll go. Oh, they were just on holiday.
Yeah, which to be fair, is if you get a named character as you just get a single miniature this time.
Yeah,
that's quite a good as far as single miniatures go. It's quite funny. It's better than say like what Chaos got this year, in my opinion. So like the World Eater's got like an 8-bound leader guy, and then Death Guard's got like it's very similar but big sword.
It's quite funny because when I collected Ultimate Space Wolves in 3rd edition and into 4th edition, you did this the other way round, which is where you got characters, but they were then, if you didn't want to take them as the character, they were still the same miniature that you used for your unnamed, like Ulrich is like basically like the Space Wolf equivalent of a chaplain.
Yeah.
But she had like Space Wolf chaplain.
Yeah.
For keeping it simple, but there wasn't a miniature. You just played them. You just used Ulrich.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now they've gone the other way round of going in. We'll do a generic one. But Wolf Priest is the term, isn't it? You only do a generic Wolf Priest, but we won't do Ulrich anymore. So they flipped it. It was like Ragnar Blackmane.
Yeah,
could just be if you wanted to. You just, instead of Blum and giving him black hair, you gave him blonde hair, and you went Space Wolf Battle Leader, or Pack Leader, whatever it was called at the time.
He has got blonde hair.
The official miniature, the official miniature is black haired.
It's random that. I'm sure it was blonde in the lore, but anyway, But this is it. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, I never feel with anything Warhammer. I never feel satisfied. They never.
Well, because it's the Pokemon thing, isn't it? Got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah.
We can call it FOMO, but at the same time, like it is what keeps us coming back.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but massively. But
I don't. And I tell you who else did this really badly for it. In the really early days of Infinity, which I used to play, which is a game I really liked, they had this terrible habit where you didn't get codexes. All of your army lists were in the main book.
Yeah.
And I used to play a race called the Ariadne, and they had like SAS teams, because the idea was like Brits and Scots and whoever else it was, Russians and Americans. Yeah, there's an irony. We're all in the same. We're all in the same.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, it was all. Yeah, they were all sci-fi. The idea being they were meant to be the race that had gone out into space first.
Yeah,
got lost. The rest of the human race went, we'll give that a swerve for a while.
Right. And
then when the rest of the human race goes out, they're far more advanced than the Ariadne. Okay. The Ariadne look like 21st century combat guys.
Okay.
And everybody else is in like power armor and you know what I mean? So, but they did this thing where they went, here's a list of all the SAS guys on your data slate that will be released with weapons, with this weapon and that weapon and that weapon. And the next thing you know, they weren't releasing them. And then they were actually going back and redoing the miniature that they'd already done for a better one. And you go, where's the rest of me stuff?
Yeah.
And I just think I don't hugely want more and more and more because, you know, if I live to be 150 years old and painted for 8 hours a day, I'm still not going to get it all done.
Yeah.
But just finish the bloody codex.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's all I ask. Finish your codex and then do all of the other ones, and then it's sitting there with the knowledge of going, I know I've got Assault Terminators if I need them. I know I've got this. I know I've got that. You know
it's
what I mean?
funny you mentioned, like, you know, Games Workshop know, like, somebody there's got ADHD. Like, there was a fantastic short that I don't know if I shared it with you, but I sent it to you, and I think Spiky Bits shared it. It was on their channel, but somebody British had recorded, "Hi, I'm such and such, the leader of Games Workshop." And as you know, years ago, we started our business with one goal in mind: how can we tax autism? and that's how it goes from there. But now, as somebody quite, I wouldn't say proudly on that spectrum, but somebody who exists on that spectrum, I'm like, fucking yes, exactly that. That is exactly how I feel. But I'm going to keep going back to more because I'm addicted. They've got me.
And look, and as I said on the show last week or week before, I'm not surprised they're doing another Space Marine Codex because you've got to keep fueling the thing that sells the best. Yeah. And I know there's Xenos players and Chaos players and so on get angry going, oh, Space Marine's always getting something. Completely get your message and I agree. But also you have to have a look at it another little bit, don't you, is the fact you need the money that Space Wolves make to pay everybody to make the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Yeah.
You know, it's going, you know,
a rising tide lifts all ships.
Was it you that once told me that at one point in time there wasn't a singular Space Marine hero was outselling all of the Tyranid range on his own?
Yes.
I think he was one of the Imperial Fists guys.
Yeah, so like it was kind of like at my time at Workshop, like an often comment from someone, and they said that an Imperial Fist like named character outsold an entire Xenos range. Can't remember what it was. Like that's just how popular the Marines
more
are.
Of that, just check. They sold more of that individual model,
correct,
than all of the individual different boxes of the Tyranid range,
or one of the Xenos range.
I can't remember the specifics now, but.
So you know, you go. Well, maybe you'd sell more Tyranids if you kept making more Tyranids, and I feel there's an argument for that. But you also got to go back to things that has been spoken about before. We've talked about is that there's only so much. Yes, you can always look at it. Most of us, a lot of us shop online, but there's still bricks and mortar stores, and they can't have everything on the shelf. As much when they started saying, "Oh, we're going to start reducing kill teams." Some of them will go away and we won't sell them anymore, but we'll support them for a while and then they won't be available in tournaments for a bit. And loads of people, you know, rightly threw their blum and teddy out the pram. You're going, but you can only have a shelf space of kill team and a shop so big, can't you? You can't.
That's the element
and this is it, is you can,
of the business that I continually forget about is the shelf space and the size of the boxes that they have. So, you know, like your Rogel Dawn bottom and various other bits and bobs. It's
how much space did they save by not having the bottom of the Rogel Dawn?
But it does
because you've got lots of weapon options.
I spoke to quite a very well-known sculptor who we both know, and I spoke to him about that Rogel Dawn bottom, and I'm not going to get into it because loads of people are like, oh, why haven't I got a finished miniature? I get it, but he said if we'd have put that in, we'd have either have to lose other stuff, or we'd have had to rejig the frames, we'd have ended up with more frames, which means that box wouldn't be the right box. We'd have to move to another box, which then boxes come in, sizes of boxes basically line up to price categories. And then when it's on the shelf, because of how much space it takes,
so it just would have been a lot more expensive.
Yeah, the more shelf space you take as a box, the more money you cost, because you've got to...
Even online, it's not just physical shelf space, like warehouse space as well is also
you are
equal.
almost selling... And I know people are going to be really annoyed and not agree with me this, and I get it, and sounds like... But you are almost... You're Games Workshop purchase is almost price per centimetre based on what it takes up on a shelf, isn't it, to some degree? Because if your box is that big, that means the other box that was that big hasn't got space to be there and so on. But, and you know, and then somebody made a really valid point. I remember reading a thing from somebody who said, I took my Rogel Dawn kit to my local gaming club. I hadn't built it. He said, I put everything, all the frames down and said, what would you like to lose that is the same amount of space as the plate from the bottom? And they go, do you want to lose them jerry cans? And and do you want to lose that? And they were like, oh, no,
the
I really like them.
cool
They're really
detail
cool.
that
It's
you'll
like,
see.
you go,
Yeah.
So, you know. But, so to go back to the original thing, are we spoilt? Yes, because we get the most stuff. But do I feel, in my own personal opinion on the Assault Terminators, do I feel like I was still justified in my moan? Yes, I think I probably was. But I'm aware that it's a moan that will annoy other people who've, you know,
feel shortchanged with the lack of their
where are my normal looking Catachans? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Why have I still got massively outdated bloomin' orcs with rocket packs and, you know, and all of this sort of stuff? I get it, but I also think if you come in with a new chassis and go, that size is now that size, you should then make sure everything else that is sold around that is released within short order, in my opinion.
I'm sort of wondering around that as well now that you say it. Like, the attitudes, I feel over the last 2 or 3 years, attitudes around Games Workshop and how they do their releases and they approach it and the pricing and the structure, attitudes around it have become less and less favourable, to put it in a positive way. And I wonder how much of this is like, even now, Games Workshop price gouging, it's too expensive. Okay, we've been saying this now for 20 years.
Oh, we've been saying it as long as I've been in the hobby.
Yeah.
And that was
I remember
98.
in primary school, everyone said it was mega expensive. So
it's always been. It relatively, it may be more, it may be less. I genuinely don't know. I want it all. Like, don't get me wrong. I think if I was to spend my hobby money, like my disposable income on my hobby, and I was dedicated to an army and wanted to paint it and did that and blah blah, then I think Christ, I'm not rich like most people. I think can afford it if you were to buy that way. But we don't. We buy so much more than we need. We all do, right? Like, like, and it's because we want it. Like, part of the hobby is that Pokemon. Got to catch them all. Got to collect them all. Got to have it all.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like I am a basic bitch when it comes to a lot of
I see that written on the toilet wall about
in my life. Yeah,
I wrote it.
And yeah, for better or for worse, I love Space Marines. I don't apologise for it. I think the new Terminators are absolutely sensational.
Yeah, they're great.
And every time I see a new Terminator release that's slightly different, I'm just like, ooh. Yeah. So the Space Marine announcement like really did it for me in a way that hasn't been done for me in a little while, I think. Yeah. So am I spoiled? Yes. Am I greedy? Yes. Do I apologise for it? Fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool, a Space Marine, but he's got some tassels in a slightly different area, or a bit of cloth or a pelt.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right then, moving on. There's been a new Chaos Knight released today.
Oh golly gosh. I've been at work.
Right, so I need to turn on. Let me go and get my giving a fuck.
Yeah, can you? Have you left it in your back pocket, or is it still holding down in the car like last week?
No, sorry. I don't care. I don't want to be negative. I want to be I am. We've just been positive. GW. Blah blah blah. I don't care about Knights personally.
No, I've got to be honest, and I'm sorry, Knights players. I feel like all I do with this on the show at times is apologise for my opinions, because I know people are like, but I love that, and and I go, and you know what, and I get it. If someone was like, you know what, I can't see the points of Cruton Tower, I'd be like, screw you, they're amazing. But so they've released a new Chaos Knight. He's got a dark flame and a deadly drill, and makes the knight. He's called the Knight Ruinator. Now, I don't mean to be funny, but you not think a Ruinator sounds like a really aggressive dildo?
Yeah, I do. I do.
It takes like 7 or 8, at least like 7 or 8 big batteries.
No.
Oh, the diesel.
No,
ones.
it's
One of them ones that if you plugged it in, the lights would flicker.
Yeah. You have to buy the diesel generator to go with it.
Hang on, love. Yeah, but that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like to me. But you know what? I don't really like nights in games. I think from having served in the military, I like the idea of things of all being sort of like squad level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because to me it's pushing toy soldiers around the table. But you know, if you like nights that you bag, then that's cool.
Yeah.
But I think this new one's really nice. I think it's a really nice. I like the design. I love the really aggressive drill. It's really cool. I like the idea of tools made to do something practical being then redefined for killing.
I can't get past the scale. Like the scale of knights just isn't right. Like, don't get me wrong. I like you. I like my squads. I like my vehicles. I even like the hovery tanks. Is it repulsor?
Yeah, repulsors. Yeah.
I like them. I like Titans. I love the idea of Titans. Obviously, they're like beyond affordable, and I wouldn't want to paint one. It just looks like a nightmare. The knight just does not fit any of the Warhammer aesthetic for me. Like, it isn't the same. That armor on that one and the other ones isn't the same style as either Space Marines or Walking Cathedrals. It just doesn't fit the visually. Like, they look fine on their own, but it almost feels like its own game.
The funny thing is they are massively 40k, but I think you're right, they almost feel like Knights should be a game of their own. See, one of my main problems with, and I know we don't try to go down this route too often, one of my main problems with Knights is not Knights, it's scenery. Okay. Because if you've got guns that big and the idea that you've got a Marine on a second floor and the Knight shoots the Marines who are on the second floor of the scenery, and I think, no, surely when a Knight shoots a gun, there'd just be no second floor.
Ignore cover,
and you know, and to me, a Knight should be able to stomp through a building.
That's it, yeah.
And I know you're going to go, but then you're talking about collapsible terrain, and I know it opens up a massive big, you know, the next thing you know, if you put Jeff in charge of 12th edition 40k, and they go, oh, have you seen the scenery section? It's 115 pages. You know what I mean? And I know, and I understand the idea. It's, you know, 40k is warfare through a very specific sort of lens, isn't it? And I like Knights. I like the way they look. I think the aesthetic of them. I think this new one looks really great. For me, I think I'd be... And you know what? You know, if Knights was a game, I think I'd be probably quite tempted to play it. Yeah. You know, if I had like two and then a load of the little ones that run around alongside them.
Like the War Dogs or whatever they're called.
I think I'd probably play that.
I can't stand the face. That looks like it's going to phone Sydney Prescott and ask if she wants to play a game.
I quite like the face. And the thing is don't forget as well, with it being a Knight, they haven't released it yet, but it'll probably come with like 3.
I hope so. I'm not seeing any more on the on the
but
picture,
I think
the different faces.
They have a number of different heads.
Codex Chaos Knights. So Chaos Knights is its own faction.
Yeah.
So
you'll go the Codex will have about 4 pages in it, surely.
Yes. Yeah. How many
Codex
models are
Chaos Knights? It's available on the back of a stamp.
That's it. Like, how many Chaos Knights are there? I've known of one before this, and it was a Chaos Knight.
I think there's 2 or 3 because there was a new one for 10th edition. There was a new one that had kind of like a tentacle sort of like whip thing.
Yeah,
and then there was another one previously before that which had a couple of
like, I've got to be honest,
options,
they released an Imperial since we last recorded. They released a new Imperial Knight last week because they're doing the 2 codexes very close together. And I've got to be honest, I had to refer to the new Oracle of all things 40k in our house, being my 11-year-old child, and I said, new Knight? And he went, oh yeah, and he said, oh, they've changed to such and such, and I've got to be honest, I looked at it and couldn't figure out what was different from it. But it was just a bit more shielded than the other one, I think.
Because I know the Imperial Knights, they were kind of like, oh, this is cool. Then they brought out another one, I forget the name, and everything is just like a bit bigger. But the model is just not as good. Like the aesthetics nowhere near as good. It's kind of like somebody released a car and then they're like, oh, this is the cool muscle car version. You're like, no thanks.
I like it too.
I think it looks too clean. It doesn't look war torn. I think if it was a bit more grimdarky, like you look at the.
I'd argue it's quite grimdark.
A little bit, but what I mean is like the weathering of it. Like if you look at the
so
the
like
pelt
what, like the
between its
paint,
legs,
the paint job?
I guess the paint job. Yeah, like I remember, like, do you remember the old Imperial Armor books that was very much like, you know, how to apply weathering? And they don't do that with GW. It's very much a box arty style. But if you look at that, what would you call that? The
loincloth.
The loincloth between its legs.
Yeah.
It goes very, that's been dragging along the ground and it's black. And then the legs are pristine.
Yes.
Well, you know, I don't mind this to some degree because I think you want to show the miniature its best to get people to take it off the shelf and buy it. But you know it's when the men and women far more talented than us that get hold of these for their YouTube channels and things, and then they go, I'm going to make this in grimdark, or I'm going to do this, and then you go, all right, now I'm starting to see the miniature at its best. I don't mind them all shiny in that because you know we're all magpies, aren't we? Shiny sells, doesn't it? So, but
a couple of people who are into knights or love them. Taro loves his knights, doesn't he?
Taro's a big fan of his knights, yeah.
And then
TaroModelmaker.com.
Guy called Dan Osborne.
Oh yeah, Dan.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've never seen so many nights in one go as I have in Taro's studio.
yeah.
It's
got was it IKEA Detolf dedicated to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But, 3 of them are holding it up. So yeah, it's not my bag. I think I can't say anymore. Really.
No, but you know, it's nice to see it. It's out there.
What I don't get is like how there's not like a knight per faction or something like that. Like, is there not a Night Lords?
Well, the idea, it's the idea, isn't it? They the knights work alongside, but the idea is they're never. Because they're all like their own families, aren't they? The house of this and the house of the other. They are like their own like ancient families.
And is that like what's in that? Is it a vehicle that's driven, or is that like?
No, I think that even with Chaos, I think the idea there is still some.
Yeah, there's a person in there.
Are they called Princeps? I think the drivers are called.
Princeps is the Titan.
The
Titan pilots.
All right there, Princeps. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, in Brutal Cunning, there's a spoilers.
Well, it's been out a few years. Yeah, I think you're all right.
A squig kills the Princeps, but the orcs can't read, and they're like, "Oh, you killed the princess."
Right.
So then there's a squig that they call Princess for the rest of the book, which is just quite fun.
Yeah, my little loved that book. He absolutely loved Brutal and Cunning.
Yeah, I can because it was probably. Because I've listened to it. I listened to the audiobook a while ago, and I think I'd come off of, the Infinite and the Divine or something like that, or something a bit more highbrow.
As much as you can be in Black Lives.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And then I was listening to it, and I was like, this is probably the first one. I think I may have even said on the podcast, I was like, this is maybe the first one that I've done that I listened to that I don't like. But then after I sort of digested it, I was just like. No, it was quite fun. Like, you don't take it too seriously. Or you can see everything coming a mile off. Like, oh no, that guy was secretly Chaos. Yeah. Like, which book am I talking about? All of them.
Yeah. And oh no, who knew that them people who were industriously working hard were gene stealer cults, which seems to have happened in quite a few books as well.
So
why were they all wearing hats?
Covering up their tattoos.
But
but yes, from the perspective of an 11-year-old kid, like that book's hilarious.
Yeah. He just was. He got it. Was it last year? Yeah, last year when we went to Kefalonia, we got on the plane and he played Steam Deck for a little bit and then put it down and then he ate that book in about a day and a half.
I feel like this is one I want to read because I've got the maturity of an 11-year-old kid. So
yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Elijah, he just stormed through it, but as he does. But so Knights, I'd be more for them if you gave them their own game.
Yeah,
I think it would be quite cool.
Yeah, I feel like I'd want to paint one at some stage just to be like, yeah, I painted one. I've got an airbrush.
I've got all the sprues for one, and I keep looking at it and thinking, I don't want to paint it because I don't want to play it.
Yeah,
you know, I only paint to play. I don't paint to display. I only paint to play, and I keep looking at it and going, what I'm going to do with it, I'll build it and paint it, and then I'll just sit there and do nothing because it goes against my ethos of the game, and I won't want to play. Yeah. And I keep now looking at it and going, if I cut that leg and changed it around, could I just do it that it sort of fell over, was trying to stop itself and then it died
Yeah.
mid fall sort of thing.
Oh, that'd be
and
interesting.
I thought, and then it could be quite a good piece of scenery for kill team and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially because I thought, if you built that right, it fell over. And you thought, and if you do house ruled it with your mates, that you could run up it and use it as a firing point. I thought it'd be quite cool.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's what might, which is really bad because my 11-year-old keeps going, when are you going to make that? When are you going to make it? I can't wait to see that built and painted today. And I'm in the back of my brain going, mate, that's just going to be fell over and covered in rust.
So I feel like you could kind of, with the Knights, if you kept the armor panels off, just spray and dry brush all of the metallics.
Yeah.
And then
I'd
paint the armor panels off the...
I think I'd just dirty down the life out of it anyway.
Yeah.
Which isn't a euphemism, it's a natural product.
Yeah. yeah.
But yes,
Absolutely
so
fine.
new night.
I have no strong feelings.
We're only minorly interested.
Either, I don't think I have any particularly strong feelings on that one. If you're into Knights and Chaos Knights at that, I hope you like it.
I don't like
it.
Specifically because whilst that's being released, it means we aren't getting more Space Marines.
Is that going to be the theme of the night?
Yeah. How dare we get this
What
weird
a waste of time.
this weird
doing
Chaos
that.
Knight when we could have got Murderfang instead.
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Why? Why Games Workshop?
Who was that guy? I'm really into Space Wolves, but I don't know his name. The chaplain bloke. Him.
Yeah, Ulrich.
Yeah.
Ulrich the Slayer.
Ulrich
Yeah, we could have had 3 Ulrich the Slayer.
Every time you say Ulrich, I think Ulrich von Liechtenstein from A Knight's Tale.
Oh, yeah.
Ulrich.
Oh, Heath Ledger. Can we have a minute's silence for him after? Because
R.I.P.
Yeah. Be weird if we just stopped from...
Yeah, just for a random Heath Ledger memorial. We do miss him though.
Yeah, we do
honestly,
miss him, yeah.
He should have been in more.
I've got a question. Are army boxes not special enough for the release they are?
Army boxes.
Yeah. Like we just had this.
Yes.
Because this would, by now, by the time you see this, if this goes out, all being well when it's meant to.
Yeah.
The Thousand Suns box will be available for pre-order. And I looked at it and I thought, don't get me wrong, I thought I do like the fact that they've been painting lately the demons in the specific, that generic demon they do. They've been painting them in a specific legions, which is quite cool to see. Because you do that demon, then they give them you can get them with different heads.
Yeah, it's like the demon prince.
No, the big demon prince.
Yeah.
He's, so you can flavour them different ways.
To your right down there, he's in an Age of Sigmar box on the floor.
Oh yeah, over there. Yeah.
Oh, I'll grab him. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fella. Props. But then they do him so you can core him and slanish him and whatnot. Other.
Yeah, so you can do the AOS version, you can do the 40k version. So he can either have wings or he can have a power pack.
Like, obviously, there's
So to each.
which is really funny because that's like the bird's head for being Tzitzit. But then when they did the Thousand Suns box, it's not the head. It's not the head they gave him. I don't think
It's difficult listening to a Scouser say bird head.
Bird head.
Because it's just
bird
obviously B-A-I-R-D.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Or
don't worry, I'll teach you.
Or B-double-E-R-D, bird.
But I see what you see. I never knew this. So what are we saying? Is this in the box or something?
Yeah, there's one of them in the box. And
I do love when they make a model that suits both 40k and
I do.
Sigma,
I think it's really cool when they manage it.
There's a lot of...
So is this the I feel out the loop? It's not a new Combat Patrol. It's the Army box
It's the Army box,
the
like they
new
did,
stuff that was announced at Adepticon. Yeah,
and so all it has in it that's new. Not all it has in it because they're quite interesting. Is them
Warframe
them
dudes.
weird robots.
Yeah, the definitely not Egyptian inspired robots. Yeah,
Not at all. But I was thinking, when I looked at it and I went, I quite like the. And I thought, when I look at a box like that, and the first thing I think of, I quite like the way they've painted that miniature that's been out for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I thought, are army boxes not enough of an event anymore? And I thought, why can't we have a miniature that is only... Can't we go back to having maybe... I know people go, oh, I never got one. But can't we go back to exclusive miniatures?
What do you mean exclusive?
Ones that only come in that box.
Well, why would you want that? I'm confused.
Why would I want that? Because I want to feel...
Oh,
I want to feel like a special boy when I spend
you want-
15 figures.
But I mean, you do. You get that initially, don't you? But
Yeah, but then it becomes general sale, and I think I sort of, to some degree, don't have an issue with exclusive miniatures because I think
if it feels a bit pay to win when it's a unique model. So like if it's another
but it's not
Space Marine Lieutenant.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It doesn't have
so sorry, chaps. So
Yeah.
the Warp Flame Thrall Band Battle Force, which
easy
has
for you to say.
yes, Christ, and I was reading it off of Warcom. That has the new robots in.
Yeah.
Dusty robots. So that is your the kind of one with the codex and all that sort of stuff.
Because they all got it.
The Combat Patrol is the one with the demon prints in.
Oh, it's Combat Patrol with the demon
It doesn't
prints. Sorry,
have the robots in. You have that's the one with all models.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because when you brought this up earlier, I was looking at a couple of the combat. We were talking about the best models this year, which we may or may not come on to. But I was looking at that, and one of the things that got released is Combat Patrols. I was flicking through the Combat Patrols, and I was like, meh, like the Nurgle one, the Death Guard one. I was like, it's a Rhino. It's the Rhino that's, God, years old now. It's got the stupid upgrade sprue for the bits, and it's like, here you go, make a mess of a Rhino.
Yeah.
A bit more classic, and I was like, that's meh. When it comes to army boxes, I don't think I get what you're saying. Like, I want to feel special in having my unique model, and if they had a model that existed elsewhere, so I could still field or buy another of that model and still have that specific model's attributes on my thing, but maybe I've got a unique pose or something like that.
Well, that's what they've done that already, haven't they? Like, if we go back to Dark Imperium, not Dark Imperium. Dark Imperium 8th edition, which was Space Marines versus Plague.
Yes.
Plague Marines.
Yeah, the first one with the
and I had that Gravis
Captain in Gravis
that you
armor,
could never then get anywhere else.
unless you bought the massive sprue.
Oh, the one that
only
had
bought that massive
it'd been abused in steroids because he had the big bubble gut. Yeah. I can see why they
like that guy that pretended he only lived on raw liver. Remember that knobhead?
Yeah.
I ended up with 3 of them somehow because I painted them and then I've been.
What, Americans who only eat liver?
No, I've only got 2 of them. But no, the Space Marine Gravis one.
Yes,
because I got one in Indomitus.
Yeah.
And then I think
you got him in one before
in Dark Imperium. I think I got 2 because you got one in the magazine. It was Combat Patrol, but whatever it was at the time, I think you got it in there. But yeah, when it's something like that, like if I can still get a Space Marine Captain in Gravis armor somewhere else, just not that pose,
which you can.
Fine, I don't mind an exclusive mini, but what I would hate is if I'm an army player and I've been collecting Death Guard for years, and the only way to get this new model that's got new attributes is to buy all of these models I already own. I own again, just to get that extra one.
That's a very, very fair point, and I do agree with that. Is that you go well? We're talking about this from last week. Death Guard sold the Death Guard army box sold out, and you go and it's other than that new Lords of whatever he's called, Poxes or Plague or whatever it is,
big sword chap.
Yeah, big sword chap.
Yeah.
Everything else in it has been around since 8th edition.
Yeah, but the value of that
box, and that's what sold it out. Although I do think it's utterly disgusting that when you're in pre-order, you can sell out.
Yeah.
I think is really naughty.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think, I don't know. Look, it's maybe me who just likes the idea of collecting all these special little things that only But I just think to some degree, I just don't feel right. I just don't feel like army boxes feel like enough of an event.
I don't with these ones. I feel like they are
interesting. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like with these, there's 2 types of army box. There's the big relaunch army box that I think goes back to, and I can't think of one before it, Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
Where people were queuing up at, I was one of them, queued up at Warhammer World because I missed it out on pre-order. And there were loads of us. We saw Duncan Rhodes and he was like shivering. So someone said, you should have wore 2 thin coats. Brilliant. But yeah, we were stood there and it was an event and we went in and it was like, yeah, we got it. And I did it. I still only painted half of that box. But those where, and I think you get the ones where you get the codex with it, and you've got the gorgeous artwork on the box, and you want to keep the box, that is an event. That is a proper army box. We'll get one for Space Wolves, I presume.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think they've already.
Yeah. Or the last one was obviously
announced,
the Slanesh box.
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
it's dedicated. But these ones where it's
so
like,
many miniatures in that box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good box.
and so many pieces for those miniatures as well.
Yeah.
But the ones where it's like generic Warhammer branding, top and bottom, you know, the black techie thing, and then a picture of the army, but not artwork, but just a picture of the army stood on the front. Yeah, they're like they feel. I wouldn't say egregious, but they feel like, hey, please buy all these models to get this one new figure that will be out in 3 months. They don't feel like an event, but I don't think they're meant to.
I know. You may be right, but I don't feel like a codex in a box that hasn't got Warhammer 40,000 written on the front of it feels like enough of a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I want
Because you get your limited edition codex, which just has less
writing.
branding on it.
Yeah. And I just feel, I don't know. I just feel like I want that box to have things in it that.
So because I guess like if we're following the argument that what they're doing at the minute sucks a bit, you either get more exclusive, which I get the impression that you'd like to go.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd sort of prefer to see them die. I think quite possibly.
I think I'd go. It's funny. I think I'd go both extremes. Either really fluff my ego or just completely ignore me.
Yes.
I think I'd rather go one.
Because it would.
I don't want to be in the middle. I don't want it to be in the middle because in the middle feels bit neither one thing nor the other.
That's where they'll go though. They'll just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, it's
take
the thing,
the
but
middle road and
they
annoy
sort
the
of-
least amount of people.
But they dress it up, don't they? It's like they'll potentially do this with Black Templars. Well, they'll go the Black Templar box, and you go ooh, and you go it's a Black Templar captain and Terminator armor, and then the rest of it is already stuff you've got.
Yeah.
And it's Space Marine, so I'd still buy it.
But you know,
Let's keep it going.
No, but like say the Space Wolves one, I've got a couple of boxes of Space Wolf stuff. I think I've sold quite a bit. Morkai and that kind of thing. I most likely will buy the new one. Because
if I can't afford it, I'll sell stuff for it.
if you buy everything individually,
like a child.
Yeah. if I'm like, does my dog need to eat this month?
Yeah.
No, of course he does, and I would feed him over myself. Yeah,
It's like he's only just got his first dog. I love my dog. He's my baby.
Yeah.
He is though. He's so cute.
Yeah, he is. He's great. He's funny. I don't call him like before I got him. I was like, why do people call dogs fur babies and this, that, and the other? Like he's not. But then now I've got him, and I don't call him a fur baby because I think that always sounds weird. But I do like the morning shift, and I come down the stairs and I can see him like poking his head around in the crate, and I'm like, where is my fluffy son? And then he starts wagging his tail, and then
it sounded like
we have a hug and a cuddle, and it's
Liam
great.
and Russ there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Where are my fluffy sons?
Yeah.
In fact, he comes down every morning a wolf pelt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just one of them.
Do you know,
it's one of them IKEA sheep rugs that he's cut a hole in.
Yeah, he nearly tripped over it, like coming down the stairs. Honestly, touch and go.
It's great. Like say, I think it's specific. So the Space Wolf one, I will most likely buy. I'll look at the codex and go, oh, that's nice, and then inevitably give you the code for it, and then and everything, and you'll be like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I don't.
Well, do you know what? I've came up with a plan for the Space Wolves because I don't want to make another Space Marine army.
No.
But I love the Space Wolves.
Yes.
And what I've decided I'm going to do is...
the Space Wolves army instead.
I'm going to make a Space Wolves army instead.
Make a Space Wolves battle force.
And what I'm going to do is I'm only ever going to paint it massively high on drugs so that the sober me doesn't know it exists.
Right.
I'm going to hide it.
Nice.
When it just doesn't coming down off the hallucinogenics,
Yeah.
I'll hide it so then sober me doesn't know he's got a Space Wolf
Yeah.
on. No, what I've thought is I want to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think has always been really well designed for scratching an itch of something you want to have a go at without hugely committing to it is Kill Team. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to buy enough Space Wolf stuff that I can mimic. I know a couple of miniatures outside of the Space Wolf range, but I'm going to buy enough of it so I can mimic Kill Team Angels of Death, but it will be Space Wolf specific.
Yeah, great.
That's my plan. And that
Yeah.
way, then it's a way of going,
Yeah.
scratch the itch.
Yeah,
Get
that's-
to have
yeah.
space
That,
wolves.
Yeah.
that Angels of Death grouping is pretty popular.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
So I'll buy a box of Grey Hunters or Blood Claws, one or the other. I'll buy the Wolfguard Battle Leader. On eBay, I'll find a second-hand. I'll find a second-hand sniper.
Yeah.
I love where this started. Like, I'm not going to buy the Space Wolf
And
stuff.
then if I buy three Land Raiders,
Yeah, there we go. This is where it's going. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was sort of like, I'm just going to go kill team. and I'll
scratch
get some-
build my own Space Wolf
Yeah.
battle barge, and
I'll just get my own bits.
yeah.
3 boxes.
Yeah, but that's my plan. That's my plan is scrounge a couple of miniatures off eBay, being one of the Eliminator snipers and the heavy intercessor with a heavy bolter.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them and then the great thing is if I buy the Space Wolf box, there'll be enough Wolfie Gubbins I can put on them 2 guys to make them look like the...
Yeah, very good point.
We've still not seen the sprue. That's the bit I'm curious about. Like, what spares are there?
So
How
there'll
much will we
be
have for the bits box?
there must be a upgrade sprue coming that has like a slightly different gun. Like Blood Angel's got one, haven't they? And
But
Dark Angel's got one.
Doubt it.
Talking
Fair
of upgrade sprues that haven't turned up, surely like they did for the Cadians. Where's the Deathcore of Krieg one? You currently can't have a Deathcore of Krieg tank commander unless you go hacking the legs off one of your own. Cadian's got a tank commander and then
to go in the top of the tank.
and then
right.
a crew and then a tank crew which looked like a female character with her sleeves rolled up and a big spanner in her hand and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's done all of them bits and bobs. And they put that Cadian upgrade sprue was very, very good, and it ticked a load of the boxes of things
Yes.
that didn't
Goes
exist.
back to what we were saying at the beginning. You've got and this is it. It's like it's complete. We haven't finished that.
Yeah.
We haven't finished. Here's your Krieg.
And look, if you know, if in the
Squads
next
and-
edition they went, because what you haven't got also with your Krieg is you haven't got a Krieg commander on foot.
Yeah.
You've got him on a horse or you've got a commissar, but you haven't got a Krieg commander on foot.
Yeah.
Which will probably be something that might come in when they get to
Yeah.
11th edition.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't, because I'd like to see 11th edition be Katachan heavy. But,
Those are
You
the
go-
jungle men, aren't
yeah,
they?
we go, and you should have blummin' done an upgrade sprue for the fact, because the thing is not even just go, well, I'll just put a Krieg helmet on that guy, because it's blatantly Cadian. They look blatantly Cadian, and you can put a Krieg helmet on them all you want, but it doesn't turn them into a Krieg. I'm really fighting the corner for Krieg here, and I don't even play them, but you go, you should have just done them a bloody upgrade sprue. And this is the problem that leads me back to people going, you're spoilt, and I go, yeah, but I also, it's not the fact I'm spoilt, I just want to see bloody continuity.
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
do. We all do.
And it's
But-
this thing of going, well, make one of them because the Cadians really need that.
Yeah.
What about Krieg? Nah, fuck that.
I genuinely, I don't even think it's malicious. I think.
No, I don't think it's malicious. I just think it's shoddy.
I don't. Yes, I agree. I don't think there's anyone sat at Games Workshop going, right, okay, let's have a list of all our forces and what we've released in the written word and what we've released physical, and they're not going through like going, right, we should do that and finish that and do this in a sensible order.
No.
It feels more like they're going, right, okay, we need a release for this period because this period's going to be a big sales period, and what are we going to do, and how can we this SKU is failing, how can we reinvigor that SKU, or we've got this much extra stock, because you're talking about boxes, but how much have they got sat there in sprues or and stuff like that? So how many, I don't know, maybe it's not done like that, but how many of these new Death Guard boxes are because, Christ, we've got absolutely tons of this sprue and that sprue and that sprue.
But that's proved not to be true because they sold out.
Well, true, yeah. No,
Yeah,
but that could be a way to shift.
But I look at it from the other side, which is this thing as well of like, is that you're going, do you know, if I already had a pre-existing sort of Krieg army that had been made up from sort of Forge World bits, or a bit of this and a bit of that, or I'd made as much of I could as a Krieg army just by continually buying Chaos Kill Team boxes, and sort of made one. And going, I'll buy all of that Cajun stuff, but I'm taking all of them fellas off and I'll put all these ons on. And then, then they go, we've released an upgrade sprue that gives you tank commander. You go, do you know what? I might just buy another Lehman Russ and stick one of them in. I think sometimes they stand on their own foot because they going, we are obsessive about making things match to what we all, unless you're like just a die-hard tournament player who doesn't really give that much of a monkeys, But we all love the flavour and the fluff and the colour and and that thing. And
yeah,
you go,
it's like Neil said, you want it painted.
Yeah, and you go, but why would you, if you're a Krieg, if you've started building a Krieg army since they got their release, you go, why are all my Lehman Russes having to have the hatch down? Because I haven't got somebody to stick out the top. And you go, yeah. Well, if you try hard, you could saw one and off. But then you've got to remove him from another unit you've already. Why have I now got a Krieg unit that hasn't got enough men because I saw one and off to put him in the top of a Lehman Russ? Yeah. You go, we know you can make a really great upgrade sprue because you made a great upgrade sprue for Acadians, you made a great one for the Dark Angels, you made a brilliant one for the Black Templars. Yeah. Just bloody just have a standing order that. Okay, I'm so angry. Just have a standing order that every bloody army that comes out gets an upgrade sprue, just factor it in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that.
I'm going to be Robin Williams to Matt Damon in a minute. It's okay.
So my opinion on army boxes. I don't know if I got to the point with my army boxes thing. It depends on what the army is. It depends on if I want the army. I feel like my opinion changes. I probably will buy, or I would very much like to buy, the Space Wolf one because, as aforementioned, a basic bitch. But say the Thousand Suns one, I'd be like, not bothered. And then, ideally, you'd individually, they'd all get released and your army box would be at the same time.
Yeah.
Because then you could go for the army. If you wanted it, you could get your limited edition codex. Bundling it all together, it would be a bit cheaper, or you could just get the bits individually.
Yeah.
I think that would be, from a consumer point of view, would be the best. I can understand why they do it the way that they do, because stuff always sells out. It creates FOMO and all that sort of stuff. So
they're a business.
Yeah, and that is like, I'd be more tempted to try and get my hands on the Space Wolf one because I'd be like, oh, will it like if I'm shooting a wedding, I'll miss the pre-order and then I might not be able to get it for months. It turns out, like, realistic when I think about it, like, it's all kind of bollocks anyway, because by the time it's back in stock, even if I bought it, like, I bought the Krieg box, I assembled half of it, and I haven't painted any of it. So I shouldn't have done it.
No, but the second any of us learn to stop buying more models until we've painted the ones we've got, and we won't. No, we won't, because the new.
Yeah.
Like, I have never cared about Eldar. But I got most of the fucking Eldar. I still haven't, apart from the Striking Scorpions, they are all still in their boxes.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to paint Fuggin.
Yeah.
More than any of the others, I wanted to do it. I still have, and I damaged my hand doing it. Like, I had to end up in A&E and I got like really bad arthritis-y something or gout in my wrist. I've never had it before. Who's the guy with the big scythe? Not the scythe. The gun.
The leader of the Dark Reapers.
Yeah, the Dark Reapers.
I know what you mean, yeah.
And yeah, like that wrecked my wrist building and because I did it like so smooth and I wanted no join lines. And I did that. Still have not painted it. Haven't painted it, so I don't know why.
Well, maybe that's because you got PTSD.
I don't know. Probably for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm buying these Space Wolves, because you're right, exactly like you. But I guarantee the day they get announced and they're up for pre-order, I will be there clicking refresh on Games Workshop and Element Games website until one of them's in stock, and whichever one I get through the checkout, because that will sell the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already sold out.
Yeah. I feel like whatever amount of sprues that they've made, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Right then. Thought we'd do something a little bit different. We normally do one of these at the end of the year, and we thought we could still do one at the end of the year. We thought it'd be interesting as by the time this video goes out, we'll be virtually at the 6 month point of the year. Thought we'd do 5 miniatures that we've really been impressed with so far for 2025, and
that have been released in 2025.
So they've been released in 2025, and they're not on sale now. So don't give me any of that Space Wolf shit.
Oh, so we can't use those?
No. They've got to be in a cardboard box on a shelf or out of stock somewhere. They've got to have been released and out of stock.
It's interesting you talk about like we're halfway through the year.
Well, we're not quite, but
we're literally knocking on the door of June.
Yeah.
And shouldn't we have heard something about the big release of the year by now? Isn't that normally
probably.
released in
Well, it's
June?
going to be Horus Heresy, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, you say it's going to be, but like...
Well, it
have
is.
we-
Well, yeah, because they've started their own trolling website, haven't they?
Oh, have they?
Horus Heresy. They're doing their own. They are basically trying to, looks at the moment like they're trying to out Valrak whilst working there.
Oh,
And
They've
hilarious.
done their own they've done their own thing called the Horus Heresy.
As in hearsay?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And they're showing little
That
bits of
really,
things.
really good pop band from the noughties.
Or
The
Horus.
late 90s.
Horus, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Horus. Yeah.
And I've said this a couple of times now, I love that GW are in
Get
a
a little
position,
bit more sense of humour.
Yeah, they're in a position to do this again. But again, we spoke to some of the guys and they were like, they were just like, look, sometimes it's not the time to joke.
Yeah.
And you know, like tensions are high and blah blah. No matter what you say, the community is not going to respond positively. It's got to say something. Like it's got to be telling of the entire Warhammer community and space at the moment that they're in a positive enough place for Warhammer to take the piss out of themselves and do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the last time I saw this was back when they were, you remember the videos where they were like, oh, what's in this bin? And then they walk past a bin that says Plastic Sisters and that sort of humour. So I love that we're here. I do.
Go on then, shall we take it in turns? What's been our favourite 5 things that we've released so far this
Oh,
year?
Christ. I don't know if I've got a favourite 5.
I haven't got a 5.
But
I was the girly swat then who did 5, but it's okay.
it's okay. I mean, I've got to say, I
The day I've had, I don't know how I managed to find time to do this.
yeah, I mean, Christ, yeah, incredible. Even though I was just saying
It's
that
the
I want army sets to die, I really, really like, and again, I did say my opinion wavers depending on if I like the army or not. I really liked the Soul Blight Gravelord army set.
That was a good shout.
But then it's 145 quid and I just haven't been able to warrant the expenditure for a game that realistically I won't play.
Yeah.
But I love all the miniatures in that box. When it came out, I was like, you know what? I think this is the one that will tip me over the edge. I think it still is. But they just look phenomenal.
It's still if I'm ever going to get tipped over into Age of Sigmar, it's still Cities of Sigmar for me.
Yeah.
I still bloody love everything in that bloody box. It's amazing. And what makes it worse is the fact that people keep going and knocking it out the park with painting things out of that box, even now, in the Golden Demon.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I really like that box, and then when it just sort of petered out, and I was like, yeah, that was cool, but I'm all right. And then Blum and Ninja went and smashed it out the park with last at Adepticon last year, didn't he?
Last year.
And he was like, all right, okay, now that's amazing. Yeah. And then there was that other chap whose name I can't remember, knocked it out the park with the Cities of Sigmar Marshal that looks a little bit like me. And he did it at MPO.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was the one that when Neil came on the show, he came in going, there's this guy who works for Thames Water.
Oh, yeah.
And he really knocked it out the park with a really beautiful blended green cloak on it. It was really, really nice.
I think Andy's as well. Andy's with the horse, like on a carved piece of wood with the leaves, and then he's took the model off the horse and he's basically put the guy's
touching
head.
foreheads, which is lovely.
I've got to admit, Andy Wardle is the only person who has painted a miniature or has painted multiple miniatures now that actually make you have, or make me have feelings and emotions. I look at and no other, everything else I look at and I'm like, that looks cool. That looks cool. When you look at Andy's stuff, especially the last two, and you get a proper oh wow,
because he did the wood elf healing the deer,
the healing heart or something.
Yeah, that was it.
And he does. You're right. He manages to basically paint an illustration from a book, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Into a miniature, and I think that's really
there's story beyond story there. A lot of the time it's like, well, what's the story? Has he just come from a battle? Has he done this and you do that? But Andy's the only one that makes you go, right, what is he feeling?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck yeah, this is
he don't get me wrong, he can do really bold and quite aggressive looking Eldar, but he also has a really light touch as well, doesn't he? Which I think,
Yeah.
Right,
so what
so-
are we? So we're just doing one then, are we?
Well, no, do as many as you like. I mean,
shoddy.
I know. I also really love
on.
Goblins on Wolves.
Goblins on Wolves. Goblins on Wolves was one of
Yeah.
my choices.
Yeah.
As well, the Goblin Cavalry. Is
Snarl
just-
Pack Cavalry,
Yeah.
they're called. Yeah.
So I really liked they were in my choice of 5. I
Yeah.
thought they were really good.
Yeah. I want to know the other 4.
Well, my phone's just died, which is really convenient.
Oh, dear.
So I'm now being a bit sketchy. I do apologise. Which is the Lord Marshal for the Krieg on the horse.
Yeah.
I think it was like Lord Marshal Dreer, I think his name is. I thought was really nice. Them Goblin Cavalry, I thought were fantastic.
Yeah.
Then I also really liked from Horus Heresy. I liked the new Admech tank. With the big scoop.
Oh,
front.
yeah.
Oh,
There's
you know,
about 3 variants of them.
The
one with the
one that-
missile
yes.
racks.
Yeah.
The one that looks like it's from Return to Oz.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
missile racks coming off the top of it at an angle.
I've never liked that tank.
Haven't you not?
No.
I thought you were gonna say, I've never liked that film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that tank.
Yeah.
I really
looks
like
like the one that looks like it's a quarter pipe at the front.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, if that was in a Tony Hawk, I'd be like, oh, Warhammer sponsored
Now,
Tony Hawk 7.
There's
Yeah.
a diorama where an off-duty Admech just
Yes.
ollieing on the
Yeah,
Yeah. You were like, oh, sick. He's doing a McTwist.
Hasn't somebody already done like one of the orcs that's like got his foot up like that and then like done a skateboard?
skateboard.
under it? Like,
Probably,
that could
yeah.
work.
And then also from Horus Heresy Admech, that bloody great big robot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
I
is
had the
nice,
name of it,
yeah.
but my phone died.
The
one-
Thanatar.
Sorry?
Is it a Thanatar, that one?
That's
Yeah.
the baby.
Yeah.
That's such
Yeah.
a brilliant model.
That to me
And-
looks more necromundery in a way, but I see what you mean. It's nice.
love
like
it.
the man.
Yeah, I love the vibe of it. Yeah.
If I ever was to step into Horus Heresy, it would be to do Admech. And then the final one as well, which I just thought were very on point for looking. Emperor's Children and Slash was I really like the Flawless Blades. I thought they were really nice.
Oh,
the 3
yeah.
with the big sword.
Like the really long heads.
I
They
just thought, were really
seemed like they were the most maybe controversial is the wrong word, but
Sanishi?
no, I like people. They were like the mom. They were like a very
real
Marmite.
Marmite, yeah. I thought they were really
and
nice. That was-
they were easily my favorite out of the release.
Yeah.
I haven't really like those releases. Interesting. I think it was the paint jobs, not the quality of it, but like the colors. As I said
Yeah.
before, I think Horus Heresy Emperor's Children, I think, are so,
that purple.
so
Yeah.
much cooler. Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah,
they were my favourite.
Rather than the pink.
that was my
yeah.
favourite stuff of the year.
Pink, but like a surprising amount of black.
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes well together.
I mean, it does, and I'm not.
I like that
I'm
solid,
not- yeah.
which was that solid Emperor's Children colour of just the bright
Yeah.
pink with the black,
Yeah.
with the black livery around it. I thought was just really cool.
Purple's so hard to paint and get good, like and highlight.
I was-
Like, how do you highlight purple? Do you highlight it with pink or violet or? Like,
Would-
it's a hard one to do. 'cause
Don't
you-
don't they for Horus Heresy? Don't do the Emperor's Children silver and then put a pink, then put a purple over the top of them to give them that metallic shine.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought that was more your I Am Alfarius dudes, but like
Theirs was
metal
like a
and then
green,
blue.
yeah.
Or bluey green.
But
yeah.
what have you liked this year then?
I have one. Like I've got others. I do like other models. I'm not that miserable, but I've got one standout model
Go on.
that I can't pronounce. As you are men.
Oh,
As you men.
Yeah.
So you know the Eldar guy who's like gun behind him, sword out.
The blue dude.
The blue
Yeah.
dude
Yeah.
with the banner.
well, that guy
banner
who's
of
the
himself.
that guy who's that confident. I'm
Yeah.
carrying a flag of
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
him, yeah.
It was, and
Yeah,
there was
I don't know if you've heard of me,
there was-
but I'm kind of a big deal.
there was the
Check flag.
incredible meme from Hot Fuzz of where
Yes.
James Bond, Timothy Dalton,
Yeah.
stands in front of the picture of himself
And pulls exactly the same smile.
Yeah, and there's those two side by side. It's like him in Hot Fuzz with the picture, and then Blue Dude, and it's like same energy. Yeah, yeah,
I haven't seen that.
yeah.
I love Hot Fuzz.
It is.
I
It's-
absolutely love Hot
I
Fuzz.
love that model. Not like that. I've got personal connection to that model because it was the model I wanted to enter years ago in Youngbloods and for reasons.
really
but-
long time ago.
Yeah, like
There's no need for that.
These are useful. But yeah, I wanted to enter it, but my mate proper chickened out because social anxiety, bastard. So I've got it as well now. Fucking everyone has. But yeah, years ago. So it was like,
We paint miniatures, of course.
So yeah, exactly. So I painted it, got it. It was dead good. Like I've not got it anymore, but I promise you, it was the best painted miniature by me, an 11-year-old ever. But I can't show it you, so I'll paint a tribute. But yeah, this has nostalgia for me. When I first looked at it and I saw the chin and the mouth, I was like, and then I looked back at the original model, and then I looked at this and I was like, no, that's better. That is better. Like it's ever just so slightly tweaked in all the right ways. And I'm just like, yeah, that says Eldar. It says
HD remake era.
HD remake. It's got nostalgia. Everything about that model is like the modern version of my childhood there. So I have to give it to that. It is still boxed at home. I'm terrified to break it or not paint it well enough. Like I actually have. Is there something you can get before PTSD?
Is this
Some
like
kind of post-traumatic stress disorder, pre-traumatic
pre-traumatic stress disorder? That I'm like, I am so intimidated
that I'm going to knacker it.
That I'm going to ruin. And I know I could buy another one, but I'd just be disappointed in myself.
Did you watch the video from Squidmar of Neil Hollis painting that?
Oh, is that what he painted?
Yeah, they did one where they gave three of them different amounts of money.
Yeah.
And they gave Neil Hollis $10 to paint it. And what he did was
I saw
Neil, he went into a hobby shop and he loaded a wet pallet up.
What with just yes.
Yeah, I saw a brilliant comment, and I chose to read it in kind of a sarcastic manner, and it was like, oh, typical Neil, bending the rules again.
We don't talk about that.
I've still got a wound somewhere here.
Yeah, that's. I think we can all agree that one gave us all PTSD. We've learned. That's why we don't have guests anymore.
We don't have him anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Which I said to him last year when he was at Spiel, and I said to him, I said, I think the world of you, don't you? And he went, yeah. And I went, but I've just got to tell you now, if you even pick up the Slayer sword, and he went, yeah, I'm not having you back on the show. And he went, it's all right, I'm not coming back. It's like, fair.
Yeah.
But that's a nice choice. It's a lovely model. I think that's a Latham model, isn't it? Or he was definitely part of the team.
Probably.
Got a serious looking rock on it.
It's got a rock on it, so I'm going to go with that. This is the thing, you don't know who's done what now, do you? So I don't want to quote and get it wrong if there's somebody else out there who has sculpted it, but whoever the sculptor is, probably Latham is on a rock, but whoever it is, fucking amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
cool.
Thank you. Round of applause for that one.
Yeah.
That
is a lovely miniature.
We didn't applaud any of the others. So
no, we didn't.
No. The right one.
No.
Okay,
right then.
I think it's
how long have we been going for?
Long enough.
Long enough, shall we? Because it's warm in here and it's
it is so hot.
And I wouldn't mind seeing The Last of Us before I go to bed.
Oh yeah. I can't because my wife and daughter's in bed. Great show though. It's been getting some heat.
Do you know what?
I'm enjoying it.
Review bombed and stuff.
Not review bombed, but it's like there's a few jokes in it because of the orientation of the main character, and there's a few things, especially last week where it went into a few it went in a little bit more into that side of in exploring Ellie's sexuality and that sort of thing.
What, you mean just like it did in the game?
Just like it did in the game. Probably it went a little bit further, but they joked.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what, but they joked around it, and it used to be like, that was quite amusing what Ellie said as a character, but no, people are like, oh, this is pushing an agenda, and I'm like, oh, fuck off.
I really, I've seen season 1. I haven't seen season 2. I haven't played the game, but I kind of vaguely know what happens. But I think one of my favourite episodes in season 1 was kind of where the Joel... No, my favourite episode in season 1 of The Last of Us...
Yeah.
Was the episode with the guy with the beard who makes boats.
The two gay guys.
Yes,
Great episode.
That wasn't in the game.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well,
Like, nobody whinged about it. Like,
No,
there were
think
whinges,
it had a
but
bit
that
of
was
whinging,
praised, wasn't it? That was really
'cause-
good.
and
Nick Offerman.
Yes.
Yeah,
fucking
he was brilliant.
brilliant
Nick
episode.
Offerman, yeah.
Nick Offerman is such an exceptional dude. Like, my opinion of him, from what I understand of him, is incredibly high.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful actor and a very nice human being as well.
Cool.
So
Sorry,
just
go on.
that story, I thought was lovely. Like,
Yeah.
regardless, I didn't really care.
What I like about The Last of Us, sometimes is it changes things around, or it takes things out from the game, or it puts things in. But what I like ultimately is that all the things still match.
Yeah.
Like
We're going on the same journey.
Yeah, like when they went to the university in season 1,
Yes.
and they got there and the fireflies were all gone,
Yeah.
all dead, which I can't remember. And then they come outside, and I'm sorry for to spoil. If you haven't watched season 1, I'm going to say something. But they come outside, and Joel gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Well, in the game, you went into that university. You fought for ages against a load of bandits,
Yeah.
and you come outside and you got stabbed. And I go, so yeah, they took all of the, because you can't just make 45 minutes of combat.
No,
as
they
a
tried
TV.
that in the Doom movie.
Yeah,
when
and
they
it
put
just
it in
doesn't
first
work.
person
You've got
for the end bit.
Yeah.
So they went in. Everyone's gone. Come outside, stabbed, and you go, all right. So we've lost a big chunk of combat and action.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the story has still in that episode ended up in the right place as
Yeah.
it would have been in the game.
What the only bit I didn't like about that in the first season is in the game it felt like it was weeks later when you then saw Ellie taking care of Joel.
Yeah.
Whereas in the TV show it was like, oh yeah, 2 days later. He was
Yeah.
literally mortally ill at one moment, and then she
because it
gave
was the
him-
real shock in the game, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Is he was injured, and then the game goes to win because it broke itself up in seasons of the year.
Oh, okay.
And when
Yeah.
it went wind, because even in the game, you could tell the different seasons because they were wearing more or less clothes.
Yeah.
which
Oh,
was
right,
cool.
yeah.
And then it went winter, and then when it introduced winter, it was
You're
Ellie
playing as
hunting.
Ellie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Ellie hunting a deer
So
in
you
the
think you
snow.
don't know what's
and
happened
you've
to
never
Joel.
played, and you've never played Ellie
Yeah.
at that up to that point, and it was like, is he dead? Is it?
Yeah.
You know, and it kept you on for just a little while. It kept you on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
on tenterhooks.
But that
as to what
showed-
it
that
got. And I
shows
just
you-
thought
yeah.
how well written the game was.
But that showed you like the growth of Ellie going from little girl to
Yeah.
survivalist. Whereas in the game, it was just like, in the TV show, it was just like, Joel's mortally ill. Oh, he's had some penicillin. 2 hours later, he's mowing down people and rescuing her. It's like, that didn't,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
no,
yeah, a little bit.
show the growth. But I think the only thing with season 2 is, and I don't think this is unfair. I don't think the jokes are her making about her sexuality and around her sexuality, and they even point out rainbows at one point.
Yeah.
And like, what are these all about? I don't get it. Because
But I like
obviously
the
in
irony
future
of
they
that.
Don't.
I like the irony
I
of
got
a
the
gay
irony of
character
it.
not understanding what rainbows
Yeah.
were.
Right,
Because
okay,
And I
yeah.
thought it was
future-
quite cool. I thought it
Yeah.
was quite cool.
But she I don't think she can carry the season, and I don't think.
Well, if you go with the game, she doesn't. If we go with the game, she won't have to carry the season, will she?
Maybe not.
Because if it does goes the same way as the game, somebody else will carry half of that season. Will carry
Spoilers.
some of the season.
Spoilers.
Or will maybe carry most of season
Season 3, which is how I'd like to see it play
but
out.
I don't know. Final one though, just quickly. He's up to date with Andor.
Yeah.
No,
Oh my giddy aunt! Do you know what?
is it still good?
It's the best
Is it
Star
on
Wars
season 2 or
TV
3?
ever.
Season 2, and this is the end of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
There's,
there'll
there's
be no
three,
season
3 more episodes left that
Yeah.
come out tomorrow.
Do you know what?
I'm going to
I-
binge it then.
Do you know what? I've got to be honest. Even though season 1 was, I hate using this term, slow. But I'm going to go with, I'm not going to say slow. I'm going to say season 1 was intelligently paced is the term I'm going to
Yes.
use.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When I got into season 2, I think because how good the trailer had been, and then because I'd had a slow-paced season 1, I was expecting season 2 to be, and then the way it started, I was like, "Ray, we're off."
Yeah.
And then it slowed right down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I was hoping that this one would be the one that was like you took your time with season 1 and season 2 would be the payoff.
Yeah.
And there's bits of it was going, oh, this is slow. And then but as you just go with it, you realise that slow pace was massively important to expand
Right.
Yeah.
the story branches. You know,
Yeah.
When you go, oh, can someone, please, for the love of God, can someone shoot a fucking stormtrooper?
Yeah.
And episode
Yeah.
3, none of that
Yeah,
happens,
yeah.
But you stick with it and you go, oh, do you know what? This is actually really, really well paced.
Yeah.
And then just little things like there's a whole it gives nothing away. It's a whole scene at a wedding between two major characters over discussing another character, and it's so just the pair of them are both darting around one's saying this thing's got to happen, and the other one's going, I don't know what we're going to do about this situation. And the one's going, I know exactly what we're going to do about this situation.
Yeah.
And it's so brilliantly two people dancing around a subject where one knows one thing and the other one doesn't know anything.
Yes.
And it's really, really good. It's so well, the dialogue is very clever.
I feel like with Andor, immediately from season 1, where Cyril's boss is saying like, oh, they're at a strip club, which we're not supposed to have, the expensive one, which they're not supposed to be able to afford.
Yeah.
Because Andor's like kills them or whatever. And then it was just like, oh, have them die doing something heroic in kind of a mundane kind of way. And just that line, it's just so human.
Yeah.
And Andor for me it's all about those character things, like the overarching, like I really like Dedra and Cyril. I think they're amazing, and the character moments that they have are
Do you know what
amazing.
I loved in it? There is a scene in it of people coming together to become an army, but they have like an amnesty where they've all, like these rogues and scoundrels and all of this have all turned up and had to put their guns on a table. Right. And one of the people picks the gun up, and it's the best line ever, because especially
I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Oh no! Well, you know the line. The line's great, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a great line. I've never heard someone say a line like that, but I just thought it was just dead clever.
You're making me want to watch it.
It's great. It's really great. Episode 8 is...
Don't tell me.
No.
I
can tell you. Episode 8 is in the top 10 highest reviewed TV episodes of all time.
Really?
Wow. It is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very strong.
Better than Ahsoka. Ahsoka.
I really liked Ahsoka.
I've not watched it. I wanted to.
I could take it or leave it.
I liked Ahsoka.
I thought she kind of stood around and
did a lot of that.
Did that
I
a bit
thought
too
Ahsoka
much.
was better than Obi-Wan, and I thought Ahsoka was better than Acolyte.
I did not like Obi-Wan.
No, I wasn't a huge
I liked
fan.
Obi-Wan in parts. There was parts of it I thought were really great, and other parts of it I was just like...
Like a little girl being chased by the Red Hot Chili Peppers was a bit weird.
Didn't. It wasn't needed. I didn't need the bridge between what happened after.
I feel like it was nice that it exists. I just didn't quite get into it. I feel like Andor is something that I've connected with in a way that I haven't in a long time with Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it's great. I can't...
Since the last good Star Wars film.
I'm hoping the last 3 episodes are strong, because I think it's been... Like I say, I was a bit like... Even my wife was going...
Yeah.
And, she's a really bright woman, and she really got on board with Andor season 1, but she was a bit like, is this going anywhere?
Yeah,
and I was a little bit defending it, going, from season 1 that they paced themselves, and she's going, I know.
Yeah.
And then I sort of defended it, but in my inside I was going, I feel a bit like this.
Oh, yeah.
You go about halfway through the season and you go, all of that slow pace was worth it, because it's all now paying off, and all of these things.
I feel like Andor is best watched, like binged.
Yeah. I'm going to wait. And then...
but I love the way they've been releasing it 3 episodes per week.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that they've done that, because I think sometimes it's like, when you have one of those slow episodes, it's like they need to do it to get everything in place. I get it. But if that was just that episode on just that week, I'd be like, oh, fucking come on.
Yeah.
Whereas now I go, fucking come on.
Well,
next episode.
Yeah, in episodes 3, 4, or 5, and 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
7 was quite slow.
Yes.
And then 8 really paid off of it. And then 9 felt like the devastation of what happened in 8, and sort of put everything into place.
Yeah.
And then ended on a nice little returning character moment that worked out really well. Yeah. So it was good. Yeah. I've been I've really enjoyed it, and I feel I'm going to be a little bit emotionally bereft when it finishes next week. Well, it finishes day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the end?
Yeah.
So I best get started then. I should be on good time. I'll see if Emma wants to watch it.
It is. It is really good. You know what I like about Andor is it's almost standalone sci-fi.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah, it needs to be, because connected to the rest of it. It got me thinking though, what was the last good Star Wars film? You can't say Solo though, because that one's obviously so great.
I like Solo.
So yeah, Solo. I don't think Solo deserves
the last great Star
all
Wars
of the
film.
hate.
Well, last great Star Wars movie for me is Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I think
Rogue One's my third favourite Star Wars movie of all time.
Rogue One was an interesting one for me because I think when it originally came out, I was like, it's okay. But then maybe my standards have changed because I thought the new sort of, sequel trilogy are just...
Empire, A New Hope, Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think that's probably mine as well, to be fair. I'm so glad.
Do you know what I do love as well? And it's given nothing away because you've seen him already in Andor and it didn't come to any conclusion. God, you've got to give it to how Forrest Whitaker, how utterly off his tits he can play that character.
Is he back?
Yeah.
Because he's in Jedi Jedi Survivor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name again?
Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera, that's it. He's always been such a good actor. He was great in, I want to say...
Everything.
Inside Man? Yeah, everything.
Every film
Inside
ever.
Man or...
No, he's not.
No, Safe Room.
Yeah, Safe Room. Yeah. David Fincher.
Yeah.
And Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster.
Great,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right.
Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai is my Forrest Whitaker recommendation. Very good.
Excellent. But yeah, loving Andor.
Yeah, it's very good. Cool.
There's my homework.
Shall we go home?
We
Yes,
shall.
let's
To
do
our
it.
respective homes, not all like we all live in one
We
house.
do
like
all
the-
live.
Yeah.
We
We're
literally
living like
live
the-
here now.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you
I've
very
seen
much
you drive. See, now you drive. You best get that
for
on.
watching. Thank you very much to our patrons for all the support.
Yeah.
We can't do it without you.
Yeah.
And
Affiliate links. If you go, we know you're going to go out and buy loads of plastic tat, like the rest of us.
yeah.
Use our affiliate
Make
links.
sure you buy Doom Eternal. I'm not sponsored to say that. It's just going to be fucking awesome. Not
I don't even
Eternal.
think my head will fit. in
Try
this.
it. You take your glasses off though. They
Oh,
don't.
well, yeah, okay. But I'm going to shoot
Should
the gun
do.
if I can't.
This is what I love about my new printer.
Oh, that's great.
Is you can print that in one.
Really?
In one. Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And on that note, rip and tear, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye guys.
Bye.